This is Amy Chan from CakeDecoratingSchool.com, and if you like cake decorating, you're in the right place. Hey everyone, thanks for checking out this week's sneak peek of our YouTube video. We're doing a flower series tutorial, and we're making buttercream wax flowers. These tiny, delicate blossoms are a great way to finish any creation. We hope you head over to YouTube to check out the full tutorial. Let's get started making the colors for our wax flowers. We're going to make 3 colors, and we're using all American style buttercream, and we're going to use 3 liquid gel colors. Some red, a touch of violet, and finally, there we go, some lemon yellow. To get started with, we're making a super pale shade of pink, and this is going to be for our petals. I'm just going to use a few tiny little specks from my toothpick of that red. And these are small flowers, so you don't need a lot of frosting and you don't need a lot of color either. We just want to make a nice shade of light pink for the petals. And these come in a variety of colors, from whites to pinks to kind of fuchsia purples, which are really pretty, even yellows. So you can kind of play around with them, and they make nice little additions to more complicated flower arrangements. So you see there, we have a nice light pink. So for our second color, we're going to make a darker shade of pink, and we're going to use the same red, and we're going to add just a touch of purple. We want to do more of that red. We want a darker hue, so we want it to have a little more color to it, a little more intensity. And this is going to be for the center area of our flowers. We want it to feel like it's almost red with a hint of purple in it. And it's getting there. It's still pretty much a pink though, so let's go with a little more red. Add some more in there. We'll give it a mix and check it out. It's going to feel almost like a light burgundy color. I feel like when I start to question, is that burgundy? That's the right place to stop. And I think that's good. Feels like it's going to deepen up into a really nice shade that's really going to help set off those centers. And our final color is going to be some yellow. It often has those little kind of dots of pollen on it. Really kind of set off the petals. So we're just going to go with a few small specks of that yellow. And we've just got a tiny little bit of buttercream. And we want to make a nice bright shade. It's really going to pop off the pinks that we made. And this will add some color and some detail to the center of our flowers. And that looks beautiful. For this flower, we're going to use 3 12-inch disposable decorating bags, and they're all fitted directly with the tips. We're using a number 61, which is a curved petal tip for our light pink. And we're using a second number 61 for our dark pink as well. Finally, we're using a number 1 for our yellow. So let's talk about the techniques that we're going to use to create our wax flower. The first one is a disc. It's a lot like some of the discs we've done in other videos, except we're using this curved number 61 tip. And we want to hold it so that that fat end is kind of right there in the center of our nail, and we're just going to squeeze and spin. And we're going to hold this tip so the overall orientation is flat, meaning that the curved part in the middle is what's going to be touching, and we're just going to spin. And this is going to give us a little kind of cupped shape disc in the center that's going to allow us to build our flower on. For our petals, we're also using a number 61 with our light pink, and we're going to do nice little teardrop shapes. So just a little up, around, and back motion, except we're doing them upright. And since we're doing them next to that disc, they have something to attach to so that they'll stand up. So they're going to give us nice little petals that stand up on their edge. So it's a very simple, easy motion. Just think of it as a high arc, or you're making that little teardrop shape, but you're going to be pulling up instead of out on your nail. And finally, on this flower for our stamens or our pollen, we're just going to be doing dots. We're using our number 1 tips, so they're going to be very tiny. So you just want to be right above the surface, give it a squeeze, let your frosting connect and form a dot, and then stop and give it a quick little swirl around to finish them off. And you can see they're going to be really petite little dots. So let's talk about the techniques we just went over and how we're going to use them to build our blossoms. We're going to start on our flower nail with the 61 that has the dark pink in it, and we're going to spin and create a disc for ourselves. We want to remember to just have the middle part of that tip touching down and the fat end kind of oriented so it's right in the middle. That'll give us a nice little disc that'll have a kind of a dip shape to it, and it'll probably have a tiny little peak in the middle, and that's going to be just perfect for our purpose. We'll switch over to our second bag that also has a 61 tip on it with the light pink, and we're going to make 5 of those upright petals. You just want to squish them in right next to each other, kind of do them really tight and not too big. So remember to kind of pull up, right, and not in a big soft arc. You'll get too fat of petals and you won't be able to get enough on there. So just nice, quick, kind of up and down motions that'll give you those great little petals, and they'll stand up for you and kind of cup in just a tiny bit to give us that characteristic shape of the flower. So you want to be piping right next to that disc that we created. Once you get your 5 petals on there, we're going to switch over to our third bag with our number 1 tip and our yellow, and we're just going to put some dots. We're going to put them right on the top rim or edge of that disc, and then 1 in the center to finish it. If when you're piping your petals, your disc gets a little smashed, that's perfectly fine. That's actually how the flowers look. They kind of have almost a pentagon shape to the little centers when they open up. So if it's round, that's great. If it gets a little squished, that's even better. It's a little more realistic. These are really cute filler flowers to make to kind of finish out arrangements on your cakes. So let's pipe the disc that's going to be the base of our flower. We've got our number 61 tip. We've got the fat end towards the center. We're touching with just the middle portion of that opening, and we're going to spin, oh, if I don't get stuck, and just taper off at the end. And you don't have to worry about it being perfectly circular, and you can see it's got a bit of a buildup in the middle. That's exactly what we want. Next, we're going to grab our bag of light pink, which also has that 61 on it, and we're going to pipe these little upright teardrop shaped petals. So we're going to orient that opening so it's just out a tiny bit. So kind of take it so that it's pointing up at 12 o'clock for you, and then just open it up out towards 1. We don't want the flowers to kind of lean towards the center. We want them to be a little open. And we're just going to go right next to our little disc. And you can see that gives us a nice open little cupped petal. Just remember to keep them kind of small. We want to get 5 on there, and we want to make sure that we're leaving room to do all of them. So each one ends up being about, I want to say somewhere between 1/4 and 1/2 inch. So not too big. So just start right next to that disc, really nest the fat end underneath, and just draw each petal really slowly. Sometimes the last one's a little tricky to get in there, but you can usually squish it in. That gives us a nice little 5-petal blossom with light colored petals and a dark center. Now let's finish it off. We're going to go in with our number 1 tip, and we're just going to create little dots all the way around. So just go right on that top rim where your pink is and line it with little dots. You can do more or less. I like to leave a little space between them just to kind of show off the pink, and then 1 in the center. And that gives us a cute little wax flower. That's all for this lesson. If you liked this video, try checking out some of the others in our flower series. If you have any questions, ideas, or suggestions for us, we would love to hear from you in the comment section. If you enjoyed this video and you'd like more about the cake decorating materials and equipment we use, or just some inspirational videos about cake decorating itself, you can follow us on Insta or YouTube at Cake Decorating School. If you'd like to know more about yearly membership and what it entails, you can go to www.cakedecorating.school.com for more information. And if you're interested in these products, you can check the links in the description.